for the ghetto history, including Schindler's List. Anyway, so this is the pharmacy. People come here because it's a kind of a haven in the ghetto, where the conditions are not, we call it in Hebrew, not the end of the world. It's bad, but it's not the end of the world. Nevertheless, you come here, you want to see a friendly, non-Jewish face. Somebody, and when Pankiewicz writes about it in his diary, it's incredible. He does not believe it. He does not believe how somebody walks in and he says, "Look, Mr. Pankiewicz, I just finished to compose a symphony." He says, "Look at these crazy people. What they do in the ghetto, they compose a symphony." And he says, "Please turn this into the music department of the Jagiellonian University." Another guy comes in with an envelope and he says, "I'm a mathematician. I think I was able to prove a theorem that hasn't been proved yet in geometry. Please turn this to the mathematics department of the Jagiellonian University for their critique." And Pankiewicz writes it down. He says, "I don't begin to understand these people." Anyway, the Krakow story goes on for almost 2 years till we arrive at the period of deportations. And Krakow is one of the best places and one of the worst places. It's one of the first places to be deported to the death camps. The ghetto here at some point had 20,000 people. They allowed 15,000. There were 20,000, 5,000 illegal. So you realize what I mean by saying that this was the ghetto, this was the place where, considering the alternative, this was where you wanted to be. People ran into the ghetto to be in the ghetto, because otherwise they would be illegal outside and they were always at the risk of death. So, and this is also basically a working ghetto. Later on, when we go to Schindler's factory, so-called, you'll see what an industrial section was. The industrial section of the town, with its factories and workshops, is less than 300 feet away from here. This was the purpose of the ghetto. So people live here under the conditions as they are. And then on the 3rd of June, 1942, when does the annihilation begin? Spring of 1942, the industrial annihilation. In the Soviet Union, it begins before, in July or August of 1941. The final solution, Wannsee Conference. Wannsee Conference is January. By the time they get their act together, it's the spring, March of 1942. One of the first cities to be sent was Lublin. And one of the first ones is also Krakow. It begins on the 3rd of June 1942. How is it done? They come to the Judenrat. The Judenrat at that point is a lawyer called Rosenzweig. Never mind the name. He's a very popular guy, actually. And they come and tell Mr. Rosenzweig, who leads a ghetto of 20,000 people, they tell him, you have 2 days to make a list of 3,000 Jews who will be resettled somewhere else. Mr. Rose, yeah?
Resettled, you mean by like...
It's not what I mean.
I know, but you said something about resettled before. Remember?
Resettled means deported. The Nazis deported them to death. They used the laundered term